Now we turn our attention to Newcastle's match with Bordeaux. It's about to stand centre stage. The French club kicked off with a 4-0 win over Club Brugge. Newcastle drew 0-0 away from home against Maritimo. That's the situation going into tonight's matches. And as kick-off approaches, let's hear from Newcastle manager Alan Pardew, who's been talking to Dave Beckett.
Alan, how do you regard the importance of this competition in your season?
Well, we put a lot of work into getting this competition, so we want to make sure that we do a good account of ourselves. We got all our best players involved tonight, in my opinion, who are available. So hopefully we're strong enough.
You've talked about wanting to win trophies in this period of 8 years, and is this one of the more realistic ones that you could go for?
I think possibly it's not, if I'm honest. I think the experience you need to win this competition, you probably need 2 or 3 years to run it. So for us, it's going to be experience gaining. That's not to say we can't. And, you know, we're going to need a huge slice of luck here and there, I think, with the teams that are in it. But brilliant for our players, brilliant experience, and we want to certainly get through this stage and put ourselves in the knockout stage when anything can happen. But, you know, looking at the history of it, you look like you need 3 or 4 years of experience to be able to win it.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Rob Lee and Didi Hamann in the ESPN lineup tonight. And true to his word, Alan Pardew's gone for a strong lineup, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he realised that with the home game against a strong Bordeaux team, needs to play all his best players. And I think what he wants to do is try and get the results as quickly as possible and get out of the group and into the other stages.
How do you see the degree of difficulty tonight, Didi? Because this is the best Bordeaux side. They've gone for their strongest lineup as well, and they're unbeaten so far this season. Strength of the French league against the Barclays Premier League.
Yeah, I think the French league is a very competitive league. We've seen that in the past. They're unbeaten in 17 games. So, you know, Newcastle have to be warned. But at the same time, they picked a team tonight. As Alan Pardew said, near enough full strength. They've got some big hitters in Ben Arfa, in Demba Ba, in Amiobi on the bench. So, you know, I expect a good game. But I think Newcastle picked a strong enough team to really be competitive tonight and get a win against a good Bordeaux side.
Rob, what's at the heart of this Newcastle team so far as you're concerned from the performances you've seen?
Well, I think attacking-wise, we're Newcastle are very good. You know, Bar, CC, Shoulder when he plays, Ben Arfa has been fantastic, Cabaye. I think defensively, with Colaccini and Taylor out, we're still very vulnerable at the back. I think Williamson and Perch come in and do a decent job, but I think long term they're not really the answer. I think Newcastle haven't got much strength in depth. I think they're very vulnerable at the back, but with the players they've got going forward, they can certainly score goals.
Now, some people say Europa League nightmare and nuisance. Andre Villas-Boas and Alan Pardew, I think, as well, regarded as a competition that needs to be respected. And it's a chance for a trophy. It's a chance for a major trophy. And I know that resounds with Newcastle fans. They'd love to win the Europa League, surely.
Absolutely, and I think both clubs assembled squads where they've got a chance to win the competition. We've seen in the past that unknown teams or lesser known teams won the competition, and I'm sure Alan Pardew would have told his players that on their day they're as good as anyone, and we've seen them taking you know, the Man Uniteds, the Arsenals, the Chelseas to the wire. So I think there's every right for them to believe that they're good enough.
We discussed this earlier, Rob. Do you feel as though the Europa League deserves a little bit more respect in some quarters? Newcastle and Alan Pardew are paying respect. Andre Villas-Boas picked a very strong team tonight. Do you think some English clubs are a little bit arrogant towards the competition?
Yeah, I think maybe, you know, Manchester United and Manchester City, if they dropped out of the Champions League and went into this league, I would expect them to play very, very weakened teams. I think maybe they do. They see it as Champions League or nothing. I think clubs like Newcastle, certainly, and Spurs, I think they look at it as a chance we could win a trophy.
Isn't it important to balance the Barclays Premier League with the Europa League? Because in a way that's the dress rehearsal for trying to play in the Champions League. You've got to be able to do both.
It is.
If you've got aspirations to be right up there.
And Alan Pardew just mentioned you need experience in European football to do well. So you've got to play some of your best players to get that experience. And you picked a strong team tonight. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a really good game here now.
Yeah, Newcastle can take a big step this evening, and having moved sports directly to St James's Park, Newcastle, very close to kick-off. Time to say good evening to Chris Waddle, who's alongside John Champion on the commentary gantry.
Hello Ray, good evening everybody. Alan Pardew taking his seat. 28,000 spectators inside St James's. 250 of them have travelled from Bordeaux. And given the quality of the opposition, there is a sense here that this is where Newcastle's European campaign really begins. This Bordeaux vintage is rapidly maturing, reminiscent of a glorious past, and improving year on year. The team 5th in the French league, unbeaten in 17 matches, and the manager has prioritised the Europa League above all else. They are undoubtedly dangerous opponents. One or two of Newcastle's leading lights in their lineup this evening. It is again a mix and match selection from the Newcastle manager Alan Pardew, although perhaps slightly stronger than that which took to the field in Madeira a couple of weeks ago to earn a goalless draw with Maritimo. Well, in their 3 European matches so far, Newcastle have utilised 24 players. Only 4 of those who started the last Premier League game at Reading are called on tonight, but they're supplemented by the return of Yohan Cabaye after an abscess, and Danny Simpson, who's been out with hamstring trouble. Gabriel Auberton faces his former club, and Rob Elliott plays in goal, as he did at Maritimo. The referee is Antonio Lahoz. He took charge of Barcelona's come-from-behind victory at Seville on Saturday, overseeing David Villa's 93rd minute winner. Bordeaux, one of 3 unbeaten teams in Ligue 1. They usually play with 3 central defenders, but tonight, with a nod to the traditions of English football, they name a back 4, 2 of whom, Mariano and Enrique, are Brazilians. In midfield, Ludovic Obraniak should be part of the Poland team that faces England in 2 weeks' time in a World Cup qualifier. Up front, Yohan Gouffron has 3 goals in 3 European ties so far this season. A strong bench for Newcastle, including the Premier League's top scorer Demba Ba. David Bellion, once of Sunderland, Manchester United and West Ham, in reserve for Bordeaux. Alan Pardew undertaking a 2nd European campaign as a manager. He was in charge of West Ham when they sallied 4th into the UEFA Cup some 6 years ago. And his opposite number, Francis Gillot, gaining a very distinguished reputation on the touchline in France, formerly in charge of Lens and Sochaux. Bordeaux have made 4 previous visits to England. Their fortunes are getting worse. In order, they've lost 1-0 at Aston Villa, 2-0 at Manchester United, 3-0 at Liverpool, and most recently 4-0 at Chelsea. But Bordeaux are the first side that Newcastle have played in Europe this season who harbour realistic hopes of beating them. It is Bordeaux in the darker kit, and this is Gouffron, who won't quite catch that as it skips away down the slope. And alongside me is the distinguished former Newcastle man, Chris Waddle.
Thank you, John. Obviously interesting game. Bordeaux going very well. Surprise package this year in the French league, unbeaten. Gouffron up front. Gouffron's the lad up front who everybody's talking about at the minute, scoring goals, very quick, likes to take people on. But for me, Newcastle's put a very strong side out. A lot of respect to Bordeaux.
It's Shola Amiobi and now Papi Cissé, who will start on the right-hand side, just as Gabriel Aubertin, normally employed on the right, will start on the left this evening. Cabaye! Early sighter for a player who in his time with Lille scored 3 league goals against Bordeaux.
Tiotia finds him, doesn't he? Cabaye just picks it up here. I think he's going to give it to Cissé. He just lashes a shot across the goal. I've got to say, the goalkeeper, I think that'd beat him. That could easily have dropped in the side netting. Oh, it's just past the post.
He's had a mouth abscess, Yohan Cabaye. Just deprived Newcastle of his services for the past 2 matches. He's back just for tonight, but also very much in the frame to face Manchester United here in the Barclays Premier League on Sunday. Cissé, Amiobi, Shane Ferguson getting a rare start at left back. Vernon Anita, flicked away by Tremolina. Bordeaux's adventurous left back.
Well, you can see already Bordeaux just can't handle the pace that Newcastle's come out. They're not used to this. French football's a little bit more tactical, a little bit slower, keeping the ball, possession. So far Newcastle come to the traps very quick, but Bordeaux are very, very dangerous on the counter-attack.
Here is Tremoulina. Scored at the weekend in a noteworthy win at Lyon. 2-0. Bordeaux, one of 3 unbeaten sides in the French league. And this is their former player, Gabriel Aubertin. Goodbye.
What an open game to start with. What, we've just played a couple of minutes, just come up with 3, and already it's such an open game. And I'm sure the Bordeaux coach will be thinking, normally plays 3 at the back and they're very solid, don't give anything away. He'll be very surprised they're actually struggling in a 4.
Bordeaux opened up with a handsome 4-0 home win over Club Brugge. The Belgians are the next visitors to St James's Park, 3 weeks tonight. Ferguson. Amiobi. Braniak. This is the captain, Fanous. Sané, who is normally a central defender but is deployed in a holding midfield role. Shield. Tackle by Tiote was apparently clean, but he's back for more.
I'm just feeling out there at the minute. They're just sounding each other out at the moment, and it's been open, but a little quality in the final third, and that's what we need.
Mariano, Bordeaux's right back. And the goalkeeper, Cedric Carasso, who was France's 3rd choice custodian at Euro 2012. Autumnal chill on Tyneside this evening. Jussier. Tremoulina. And that was the chance for Braniak.
And Braniak for me should score. Good build-up play, a little bit of good fortune there. I don't think I was meant to burn his head, but it's a great delivery. He's just got the target. The pace of the cross just directed on the target, and that's 1-0. You can see the coach very frustrated with that chance.
Ludovic Braniak should be at the heart of the Poland team that faces England in a World Cup qualifier in 12 days' time. It's integral to their efforts at Euro 2012 on home soil. Amiobi. Closing in. Instead, this is Mariano. Sebe. Yaroslav Plashil. It simply took too long.
Braniak. Well, very confident side, and rightly so. They've had a good start to the season, and some good results. As you say, they beat Bruges in the first game of this competition. This is a good strike. Straight at the keeper, but they're moving the ball around and they're working very hard off the ball, Bordeaux.
Danny Simpson. Cisse. Newcastle are to be applauded for lowering ticket prices. £15 for adults, £5 concessions. Rewarded with an attendance that they hope will push up towards 30,000. Seve.
I'm not afraid to have a shot. Oh, I think that's 3 already. And they build up play very well. You can see how they're a dangerous side. They've got some very talented footballers. That's well weighed, but they're not frightened to shoot.
Newcastle's manager armed with his new 8-year contract to the year 2020. Foul by Tiote.
Well, they're just not getting tight, Newcastle. We've got to say, I know Bordeaux are very mobile, technically very good, and he's just got his own. That's not really a foul for me. That's just a decent challenge, and the referee from Spain has given it. But so far, you've got to say Bordeaux are just playing a little bit of quicker tempo and using the ball and the options a little bit better.
Francis Gion was a central defender with Lens primarily. Flachil. Mistake by Mariano. Seized upon by Obertan. Amiobi. Vernon Anita. Tiote. Cabaye. Shane Ferguson. Europa League, an opportunity to experiment with some of the fringe personnel for Alan Pardew, and also to experiment with different ways of setting up his team.
I've got to say, Newcastle lacking ideas. I know they've made a few changes from the team, probably what will run out against Manchester United on Sunday, but at the minute they're lacking ideas. They haven't got anything down the flanks. The midfield are basically getting bossed, and Bordeaux look the side in control.
Abraniak. Flachil. Tremoulina. And there's Gouffron.
They get a lot of joy in that midfield, and they get the ball away. The fullbacks get forward very, very well, and this is a decent ball. Again, they've got 3 shirts in the box, Bordeaux shirts, and they move the ball very, very well. They've always got an option 10-15 yards away from them, a very bright side.
Cisse. Challenged by Planous. Staniak. Anita. Amiobi goes down under the challenge of Enrique. Referee right on the scene. It's going to be yellow.
Well, it's the first time for me that Newcastle's actually got the wrong side, the other side of this Bordeaux team. It's a good through ball. Amiobi just goes. It's a definite foul. And some people might say, did he deserve a red? I'm saying no. I think there would have been people back, and he's still outside the 18-yard box. He's not bearing down on goal.
What it is, though, is an inviting opportunity from the free kick. Ferguson and Cabaye, the two candidates. Cabaye it is! Just rippled, brushed the outside of the net.
Carasso was very, very confident, wasn't he? He didn't even move. He thought, that's wide. And it was well wide when you look at it from the angle we saw before. It's hit the back of the side net, hasn't it? It's well wide. The good judgment by the keeper, and the wall did its job. I thought Ferguson should have hit that. It's ideal for a left footer.
Back by Trimulina. Bordeaux unbeaten in 17 matches in all competitions. Last defeat was back at the start of April. Here's Cabaye, and now Cisse. Demba Ba in reserve on the bench, so too is Hatem Ben Arfa this evening. Tite lost it. This is Sané. Mariano. Space and time for Gouffron.
Good build-up of play. Where they're getting done, Newcastle, John, is every time they break, the two wide men for Bordeaux tuck inside and become midfield players. Aubertin doesn't tuck in. Neither does Sissi. Doesn't help the boys in midfield. And again, it results in another shot from just over 20 yards. Very, very easy for Bordeaux.
Cisse finding Cabaye, who's located Aubertin. Two to beat. Aubertin. Shola Amiobi, the man on the mark. But all the congratulations go to the former Bordeaux player, Gabriel Aubertin, who gets the assist.
Well, that'll give him a lot of confidence. He hasn't had a good time since he came to Manchester United here. We're not seeing the best of him, are they, in a Newcastle shirt. Wonderful ball by Cabaye. And this is what they brought Aubertin in for. Normally on the right, playing on the left today. Use that pace, get it out your feet. And I've got to say, Shola Amiobi, I'm not too pleased with the finish. It's hit the back of the net, but it wasn't the best finish from Amiobi. But that's what Aubertin should be doing a lot more of. He's got terrific pace, spots him, just comes off the toe. Amiobi's left foot. Great ball by Cabaye. And this is what you want from Aubertin. He has got licence to do that, and you want to see it more often. It's a good goal by Newcastle United.
Well, Alan Pardew's entrusted him with a place on the left-hand side, and it's his presence of mind and creative spirit has set up a moment for Shola Amiobi to celebrate. Only Alan Shearer has scored more European goals for Newcastle than Shola Amiobi. It's his 13th. And here goes the creator again.
That should give him a lot of confidence. There's Amiobi.
Just finished a run of 14 games without a goal. Hardly an early goal, but it is Newcastle's fastest of the season. Sané. Mariano. Anita. Obertan. He's in the mood. Gouffron. Abraniak. Flashil. Seve.
Newcastle's took the lead, they still carry a threat at Bordeaux. You can see that on the break. They've got pace and they pass the ball very well.
Jussier. Sané. No foul by Tiote, and here's Amiobi. Goal scorer on that occasion at fault.
Well, that's a waste. Here's the goal again. Obertan, as we just praised him for getting the byline. Amiobi with that left foot. It just comes off his toe as well. It didn't get his side foot as clean as he wanted. That's why he's watching it going in the net. He's finished better than that before, but I like Amiobi. I think he's strong. He links the play up well. Hard to play against.
See a card here for Tiote. It's not an uncommon sight, no. Tiote being booked.
He likes collecting them, doesn't he?
Braniak. So got the nearest of touches. A club with a French core these days in terms of the playing staff. 7 Frenchmen, 3 other French speakers. Sabar and Cisse and Tiote. Steered back by Williamson. Seve. Tremulina. Simpson with the block. Mariano has started a run on this near side. Danny Simpson.
That was good build-up play, wasn't it? Very patient, and that's what I like to see. Keeping the ball, the 1-0 up, enjoying it, moving the ball left to right, just over-hit the cross, Simpson.
Goodbye. Braniak, and Tiote has crumpled to the turf, which is a desperately worrying sign for Newcastle.
Well, it's his ankle. He's done it. He's just twisted it. He's went over. He's obviously seen something to ref. Something's happened, which obviously is not good news for Alan Pordew. Manchester United arriving here on Sunday. He's a big player for Newcastle.
That's the ready-made replacement, Gael Bigaramana, the 18-year-old signed from Coventry in the summer. Just wonder, they are looking towards the ankle, but it's been a calf problem that's been his real bugbear this season. That's what's kept him out of quite a number of games. It was after that stretch that he fell to earth. Player who is integral to Newcastle's hopes of replicating their form of last season.
Oh yeah, he is. He just basically runs off there, and that's it. Nothing happened, no touch, no contact. Didn't really twist it. It's very surprising. That I can't work out why he's got injured there.
Continuing to receive treatment down below us, so Newcastle playing for the time being one short. Gouffron. Trimoulina. There's Perch. He's going to try to battle on. Much more freely than he was 2 minutes ago, but still not as freely as he would like to be. Braniak. Cabaye. Zanus. Mariano. Bordeaux's 2-0 win at Lyon, arguably the standout result of the weekend in the French league. They did a run of 4 consecutive league draws. Let's see a couple of very late and extremely frustrating equalisers in that sequence. Sitting happily in 5th place in the league table. 5 points behind the early pace setters Marseille. Liverpool in the Europa League. Tremoulinat setting up Jussier, cleared by Ferguson. John Joe Shelby, the goal scorer for Liverpool. Tremoulinat. Goodbye. Mariano. Gouffron.
Well, they could have laid it again. Wonderful build-up play, wonderful ball, wonderful layoff. Gouffron there, showing why he scores goals. This is great build-up play. This is a great ball. He had to spot him out. Great first touch. What a layoff. This is a lovely little turn there. He could have laid it again, but when you're in form and you're scoring goals, you always think you can score.
Of them. Bordeaux supporters are making themselves heard. Elliott clutches well beneath his own crossbar. Forthcoming football here on ESPN over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, a Highland fling. Inverness Cally Thistle against Ross County from the SPL. And then on Saturday at tea time, a London derby from the Barclays Premier League. West Ham versus Arsenal. Danny Simpson back in the Newcastle team after hamstring trouble tonight. Vernon Anita. Cissé's offside. Well, Pardew's not a happy man right now. Trying to get a message across. He's been gesticulating fairly wildly down below us.
I think he's trying to get Cissé to play as a centre forward and Amiobi to play a little bit deeper. Where he can pick up Sané, the midfield boy who's getting on the ball a lot. So they just basically changed it to 4-4-1-1.
With Vernon Anita on the right-hand side of the midfield by the looks of it. Tiote, who's now moving much better. Carasso. Ferguson. Brought by Mariano. Tremoulinat. Jussier. Ferguson. Obraniak. Jussier. Space for Seve. Well, they're asking for a handball there against Williamson. Gouffran nodded the ball on, and did it rebound off an arm? The referee saying it came off a chest.
Well, it looked like it did from where we are, and we're a long, long way. But again, the official on the goal line, for me, has got the best view. There it is. It's a decent ball, a little bit flat. There's a hand, there's no doubt about that. It comes away for a corner. There it comes in again. Oh, it comes off his chest, so they got it right.
Antonio Lahoz of Spain. Deeper. Williamson dealing with it. Here's Obraniak. Good shape on that. And a touch away from danger by Elliott.
He's got a lovely left foot, hasn't he? You can see that the crosses he's put in so far. This is a wonderful ball. Maybe a little fraction too high. Elliott does well to spot the danger and just flick it away.
Bashir. Good header this time by Williamson. Braniak. Newcastle still leading through Shola Amiobi's goal after 16 minutes. Seve. Sané dispossessed by Obertan. Anita.
Oh, what a waste again. There's a lot of counter-attacking football going on. Some decent passing in the middle of the park, and the back fours are good distribution. But it's that final third where this game's fell flat, hasn't it? Apart from the goal where Obertan did a bit of magic to get to the byline and flash one across, Amiobi scores. A couple of long shots from Bordeaux, but that final third, both teams have struggled.
Cisse, defeated by the bounce. Cisse, now more central. Obertan. Ferguson. Cabaye. Anita. Out of play.
He's just got to watch himself. But you've got to say, John, that the final third, that is where both teams have struggled. And they've been in good situations. Obertan's just been in fantastic position. He has Anita nearly falling over the advertising boards. Bad eyesight, has to get close to read it. But so far, the final third for me has just been so disappointing for two teams who are blessed with a lot of quality in their sides.
Bashir. Chamulina. Ferguson. And Williamson. Tiote. Amiobi. Graniak. Sané.
Oh, we've seen Bordeaux have 2 or 3 long-range efforts have been decent. Put a couple of decent crosses in as well, but again, once they get that 18-yard box run out of ideas, that's a good strike and it's a good distance, isn't it? Sané hits it really well. Elliott does the right thing, pushes it away to wet, greasy surface.
Goodbye. At least one member of the Newcastle coaching staff ventured the view before the game that this was Newcastle's toughest game of the season so far, domestically or in Europe. May well be superseded when Manchester United come visiting. Loose on the stretch. Amiobi finding Simpson. What a horrible mess. Enrique, the unfortunate man. And Newcastle, whilst not on the balance of play 2 goals better than Bordeaux, have that lead.
Well, Amiobi again, good hold-up play, lovely little layoff. It's a great ball in by Simpson. Really, the keeper, has he shouted early enough? Enrique gets across him, I don't know what he's thinking. Where's he going to clear it if he does get his foot on it? There's only one place it can go, and that's where it goes, in the back of the net. Maybe the goalkeeper didn't let him know early enough, but that's a terrible goal to give away just before half-time.
It's a bonus for Newcastle. It's a gift as well. Enrique, the Brazilian, stretching and scoring at the wrong end. Gouffran. Second attempt, it's gathered by Rob Elliott. Newcastle's number 3 goalkeeper seems to have got this Europa League as his gig at the moment, with Tim Krul out injured, Steve Harper playing in the Premier League. Excitement on the far side at St James's Park. There's been something of a commotion amongst the travelling supporters. Tiote. He's a little hindered in his movement. This came to light when he came to gather that ball a moment or so ago and limped away from the scene. Steve Harper, the number 2 goalkeeper tonight, is doing some warming up and stretching below us. Here's Aubertin. Cisse. Anita, chance for him, beaten away by the goalkeeper Carasso. Cabai appeals for hands, referee had an unobstructed view but said no. Braniak brought down by Anita, who might well have scored moments ago.
Well, Newcastle could have put this game to bed, couldn't they? What a chance again. I've heard Bordeaux are very good defensively in a 3, but they're not in a 4, I can tell you that now. The gaps in that back 4 all over the place, and he's hit it hard and low. It's a decent save by the keeper, it's an easy save really, and he has the claim for the penalty. No, you can't give that neither, but Newcastle should have put this game to bed.
Confirmation that for that subsequent foul, Anita went into the Spanish referee's notebook. Seve. Goalkeeper Rob Elliott has got a message to the bench to say he's okay for the time being. Half-time imminent. This is Gouffron. Seve, shielded by Williamson for Elliott to claim.
Here's the bookie he gets away from Toyote, and it's deliberate, isn't it? Anything but a yellow, he had to be, and he accepts it, took one for the team.
Anticipating 1 additional minute.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 1 minute stoppage time to be added.
Amiobi. Cisse was on his way. Now Plachil. Obraniak. Doesn't look happy, Rob Elliott, and may have to be reassessed at half-time. Steve Harper may appear for the second half. Newcastle's medical staff have got 15 minutes to decide on Elliott's future in this game. Will end with a Bordeaux free kick. Mariano. Well, Newcastle find themselves in a position of some comfort thanks to Sholi Amiobi after 16 minutes, and then an Enrique own goal 4 minutes before half-time. The first set up by Aubertin against his former club, the second created by a surging run and cross from right-back Danny Simpson. Plenty then for Messrs Lee and Hamann to get their teeth into in the ESPN studio. In just a couple of minutes' time, the half-time score here at St James's Park reads Newcastle 2, Bordeaux 0.
Welcome back. Barclays Premier League action here on ESPN this Saturday is West Ham versus Arsenal. It's pre-match coverage for a London derby from 4:30. On tonight's Europa League Live, Newcastle 2, Bordeaux 0 is the half-time score. Rob Lee and Didi Hamann are in the ESPN lineup. Very satisfactory from Newcastle in the first 45 minutes. What took your eye about their performance, Rob?
Well, I think Bordeaux played most of the football. They kept the ball very well, but I think Newcastle looked like they were going to score every time they got the ball. Aubertin, I've been a big critic of him in recent times, but he's the best I've ever seen him. He's got the ball out. He's got crosses in. They've got it out to him. He's got the ball in. He's done marvellously well for the goal. And he's been a thorn in their side.
It's a very satisfactory scoreline, Didi.
Yeah, it is in overtime, as Rob just mentioned. He had a major part to play in the first goal. Great ball by Cabaye, takes the full-back on, and he just hits it across the face of a very hard ball to defend. Ameobi Nixon at the back post. As Chris Wold mentioned in commentary, he only gets a toe to it, but thankfully it went over the line. But great play by Obertan. If he does that with his pace, with his trickery, he's nearly unstoppable. But for my opinion as well, he doesn't do it often enough.
Some relief from Shel Ramiobi when that went in.
Yeah, I don't think he caught it quite right, did he? It was lucky it was on the plate for him from Obertan, but he seems to hit his end of his toe. So, but hey, they all count as.
Doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't say on the newspapers, the websites tomorrow how they went in. It just shows they go in. And then presented with a second goal. And I guess that was a reward for the pressure that Newcastle were putting on Bordeaux. When they got the ball, they attacked that and they went at them, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Bordeaux had a lot of the ball, but it just didn't look like they were going to score. And this was a complete mix-up, really, between Enrique and Carrizo, the goalkeeper. I mean, if the goal hasn't called for that, then it's his mistake. But you would have thought Enrique would be able to see that, because the goal is coming out. It looks like he's just going to catch it in his midriff, and that's a complete mess. And it puts Newcastle in a driving seat.
It's right down the goalkeeper's throat, isn't it? It's just there for him.
Well, the defender's in two minds. He doesn't know whether the forward is behind him, whether the goalkeeper's coming. All three goals we've seen tonight, the Leverkusen goal and the two goals today. The ball played with pace across the face of the goal is a very hard ball to defend, and I think you should have seen the goalkeeper, even if he didn't call for it, because he's only half a yard away when he hits it. So a mix-up, and somebody should have taken control of the situation.
Newcastle could be over the hills and far away, because there was an opportunity to make it 3-0, which would absolutely sort it out.
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah, fell to Anita, and I think he should do better. I think he should do a lot better. It's a good little slip ball. If he keeps it low, it's very difficult to keep. It's at a good height for him. But I mean, if that goes in, it's 3 points for Newcastle, without a doubt.
Bordeaux have never scored in England, you know.
That bodes well for Newcastle, doesn't it?
And all the times they've played there, they've never scored in England. And
I don't think they look like scoring today. I think they've kept it very well, and they look like they can pass it around. They've got some good players, but I don't think they've really looked like they're too much danger to Rob Elliott.
More goals for Newcastle in the second half, perhaps. They're going to have to make a change for the second half, because we're hearing that Rob Elliott's going off and Steve Harper is coming on. So that's not good for him. Rob Elliott likes his opportunities in the first team. So second half on the way, Newcastle against Bordeaux. Newcastle firmly in control. They got a goal after 15 minutes. Were presented with a second goal that should settle the result. No less than a Milan derby will form the climax of this weekend here on ESPN. After UFC on Friday night, Premier League games in Scotland and England, plus 2 Premiership Rugby Union matches, AC Milan and Inter Milan will meet on Sunday night from 7:15. Europa League football has our attention tonight. Let's sprint through just a few half-time scores. Anzi 2, Young Boys 0, that's a result. Liverpool beating Udinese by a goal to 0. John Joe Shelby. Academica 0, Hapoel Tel Aviv 0, Atletico Madrid 0, Pisen 0. And in Newcastle's group, Club Brugge 0, Maritimo 0. Newcastle comfortably in control, beating Bordeaux by 2 goals to 0. Newcastle goalkeeper Steve Harper is going to enter the game, play 3 Premier League matches in for the injured Tim Krul. As far as it's bad news for Rob Elliott, who had to go off injured. Second half about to get going. Back to Chris Waddle and John Champion.
Bordeaux continuing in similar vein to their previous visits to England. They've never beaten English opposition in 8 previous meetings. They've never scored in England in 4 previous visits. And so they are making a double change. Diabate, who is a goal scorer, and Marlian is going to come on, number 14. And also we're going to see Landry Nguemo, the Cameroon international who played at the last World Cup. Spent a season on loan with Celtic. Nguemo replacing Plachil. And discussions still continuing before the electronic board can be raised to confirm the second substitution. There is Nguemo. Spent the 2009-2010 season with Celtic. And Abraniak is the player replaced by the arrival of Diabate.
A double substitution for Bordeaux, coming off number 18, Yaroslav Brazil, and also
Guemo just back from injury.
for Ludovic Obraniak.
Well, he would be a starter when fully fit.
Landry Guemo.
Bordeaux looking to overcome a 2-goal deficit that could so easily have been 3. And Vernon Anita accepted a very presentable chance to score his first Newcastle goal a couple of minutes before the break. Chilly evening on Tyneside. Crowd announced during the interval as just a touch under 31,000. And just to complete the news on Newcastle starting goalkeeper Rob Elliott, who's now been substituted, he has a groin injury. Here's Papiss Cissé, then Anita. Perch. Kabay sliding in twice, only got the ball the first time, and off goes Gouffran, and out comes Harper. Guemo. Obertan seemed to have had the bit between his teeth more often than not this evening, setting up the first goal.
Well, he's had a decent game so far. It's the best we've seen him in the Newcastle shirt, put it that way, and made the goal, but he has looked more confident. Bordeaux's gone back to the 3 at the back, which they are renowned for this season, been very solid. I'm surprised they didn't start it, and I think probably the coach is thinking that as he walked down at half-time. They've gone back to that 3-5-2, which has obviously proved very well and did very well for them this season.
It means that Sané, who played as the holding midfielder, is now a more orthodox centre-back. Gouffran. Mariano. And the cheeky flick. Came from Seve.
And that's a lot better, isn't it? A bit more movement, and it's a lovely little flick, and Harper, Steve Harper takes no chances, kicks it away with his left foot.
Perch. Cleared by Anita. Obertan. Now Kabay. He seemed to save some of his best performances for his former club Lille, for occasions when they were playing against Bordeaux. Ferguson and Cissé! It's 3! And it's another assist for the young Ulsterman, Shane Ferguson. Sweet finish by Cissé. Ferguson takes credit too.
Well, you've got to say what's happening with the back 3. It was a counter-attack. Obertan got on the ball, didn't he, from a long diagonal ball from Anita, and it's just a simple ball in, as you say. Ferguson, there's only one in the box. I think he's offside as he kicks it, John, I've got to say. But the marking for me is very poor. You've got 3 centre-backs, really. Sané, who played in midfield first half's asleep, and that's a difficult finish. He has to comes off his shin, I can say. It's a difficult bit of finishing to do, and he gets it in the bottom corner, but what is the centre-half thinking about?
Let's go number 3.
Whilst you watch replays of the celebrations and indeed the act of scoring itself, Cissé has his name shouted from the rafters. There is a pitch invader. We won't dignify by showing, but it is going to cause a slight delay, and what is extraordinary is that he's been out there for at least 30 seconds and no steward has gone anywhere near him. Only now do the stewards come on. In fact, Sané, one of the Bordeaux players, has gone to try and manhandle the intruder. And now he is being removed.
Well, Here's the goal again for me. He is a fraction offside. Sané should be marking better anyway. He'll say he's done his job. He's caught him offside, which he is a fraction. Even doesn't spot it. It comes off his shin, bottom corner.
Well, he can't score for love nor money in the Premier League, but he scored at Old Trafford in the League Cup last midweek, and now he's managed to score in the Europa League. Now, unfortunately, the intruder is still on the pitch, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stewards are now involved in removing him. It seemed to take an eternity before any of the security personnel got to him, and I think that was what Alan Pardew was saying to one of the senior stewards down beneath us a moment or so ago. Anyway, order has now been restored. And this being a UEFA competition, Newcastle may have 1 or 2 questions to answer. Overtown. Ferguson. Deeper cross and a less accurate one than the previous, which led to the goal for Cisse. 1-1 the score now. Liverpool and Udinese. Di Natale cancelling out John Joe Shelby's first half goal. We'll see those goals at the conclusion of this game here on ESPN. Earlier today, Tottenham drew 1-1 at Panathinaikos. Pushed by Sané.
It's become a very easy game for Newcastle, isn't it? I thought Bordeaux would come out, gone back to their normal system. They would have had a good go at Newcastle, trying to get a goal back. It would be 2-1, anything could happen, but I've got to say now, Bordeaux, a lot of the heads have dropped and they just want to get back on that plane and go on.
Cabaye. Very inviting delivery. Jamulina. Danny Simpson. Arrived here this evening, highly rated, touted as a team that could do damage to Newcastle.
I think they won at the weekend, John, at Lyon, and they had 3 shots and scored 2 goals, and Lyon had 16 shots on target, and it was just one-way traffic, so probably one of them days, and that's probably how the season's gone. But he's gone back to his 3 at the back, and there's just no pressure on the ball, and Newcastle can do what they want.
Anita. Simpson. Say about the relative strengths of the Premier League and the French League then, if a full-strength French League side going well is being taken apart by a mix-and-match Premier League side?
I've got to say, I think French football obviously is finding it very hard. They can't compete there apart from Paris in the money market and buying players. I think Paris will give anybody a game, there's no doubt about that. I think Marseille started, probably overachieved this season, I've got to say. Lyon, you know, they're a decent side. They're not as good as they were neither. So I would say probably Paris is your strongest side out, who would give most teams a game. But the Premier League's far stronger than the French.
But it is a fertile recruitment ground for Newcastle.
It is for Newcastle and a lot of other clubs who've gone into that French League and got players out of it and spotted young talent. It is a breeding ground still, and they just can't compete, John. You know, as I said, apart from Paris, if a player becomes available on the market, there's no chance a French club or in Paris Saint-Germain to compete in the market. So it's very difficult for them.
Painful viewing for Bordeaux's ambitious president, Jean-Louis Trio, who is here in the posh seats tonight. No Mike Ashley on this occasion. Pleased to report a sighting just behind our commentary position of Sir John Hall, approaching his 80th birthday, and now very much back full-time as a North East resident. The man who was at the helm during the Kevin Keegan era. Part 1.
Well, he's got Obertan running down left-hand side, and I'm sure he shouted, but Kabay come on for that 25-yard, and you cannot see out the picture there, but Obertan's on his own on the left-hand side, and like I say, Enrique Uncle giving the ball away cheaply to Kabay again, and he's had an absolute stinker.
Goal in the other game in this group, and it's gone to the Belgians. Club Brugge 1, Maritimo 0. Club Brugge the next visitors to St James's in 3 weeks' time. A win tonight would take Newcastle to 4 points from their opening 2 fixtures. Tonight, Bordeaux had lost just one of their last 13 European matches. Newcastle, better than that, one defeat in 17. It is 6 seasons since they were last in Europe. When Glenn Roeder led them to the last 16 of the old UEFA Cup, where they were beaten by RZ. Off goes Ferguson. Kabay.
Newcastle's just full of confidence now. Everybody wants a touchdown, and look at the Bordeaux team. There's not many want to come out and get on that ball. They're competing, but they've just lost all belief. And the result's done for me. Newcastle, it's how many do you want to get?
Well, if Bordeaux are to continue their painful sequence of losing in order in England, 1-0 at Villa, 2-0 at Manchester United, 3-0 at Liverpool, and latterly 4-0 at Chelsea, Newcastle need 2 more. Cisse. Amiobi. And to knock off the ball. Popular man in these parts. There's been good news on Chet Tiote, who's managed to continue after going down in the first half. Kabay has just had a brief conversation with the Newcastle bench to say, just give him 5 minutes to see, but he's feeling a knock of some sort.
Well, the game's over, John, isn't it? Let's you know, you want him for Manchester United now on Sunday. I'll get him off.
Seve. Intervening was Obertan. Still only 23, Gabriel Obertan. Bigirimana being readied. Escobar on the stretch. Substitution then, before the corner is taken, and it is Cabaye who's coming off. It seems to be news to him.
Well, I think it's a sensible decision. For me, the game's well won by Newcastle. He's had a good run out, Cabaye. He's looked good, he's been involved in some of the goals, and what you get from him, good passer, can compete well. I like this guy who's coming on. I think he's got a big future.
Bigirimana is only 18, originally from Burundi, more recently from Coventry. Bigirimana's first involvement is to clear. Striking in appearance, he co-owns a hair salon in Coventry.
I think he wants to pay a visit.
Newcastle commit one more change. Baran, Hatton Ben Arfa in reserve this evening. Papi Cissé. Anita, Aliobi, Bigirimana, Cissé, Tiote, flag was up against Everton. Game being played generally in a friendly spirit. Do these players know each other? There's a gathering of 2 or 3 of the Newcastle players waiting to greet old friends outside the Bordeaux dressing room when they got off the bus.
Well, it's very easy for Newcastle, isn't it? I've expected a lot more from Bordeaux, and even though they're 3-0 down, they just can't raise a gallop, they can't close them down, can't keep hold of the ball when they do get it, they've got no ideas.
Sané, Gouffron, Bigirimana in the end got in the way after Tiote had twice tried to effect a slide tackle. Cissé losing out this time to Nguemo. It's comfortable pickings for Harper. Coming off the bench to make his entry at half-time in place of the injured Elliott. Made his debut back in 1998 as a half-time substitute against Wimbledon. He's in his 20th season with the club. And David Bellion is going to come on, which will give the crowd an opportunity to issue a few boos if they remember that he used to play for Sunderland. Bellion for Gouffron. Newcastle in the process of extending a very impressive home record during 2012. Just one defeat here. Cisse, an optimistic move.
I know he scores from everywhere, but that was a little bit ridiculous, wasn't it? He had plenty of options to his right and left. And I don't know who he was thinking of there.
Well, he set the standard at Chelsea at the back end of last season. Gouffron is about to be replaced. Simpson headed it out of his own goalkeeper's hands, taking no chances. Newcastle's 16th home game of the calendar year. En route to what they hope will be a 12th win, 3 draws and just that solitary defeat by Manchester City. Aubertin.
It's become like a testimonial, hasn't it? Newcastle are just really, it's so, how easy is it to keep the ball? They could just do this till the end of the game if they want. They don't need to go forward.
Aubertin.
Substitution for Bordeaux, number 9, replaced by number...
Well, I've not saw the best of Gouffron, let's be honest. I've heard a lot about him. He's very pacey, likes to dribble, takes people on. He's had a terrific run in the Bordeaux shirt the last few weeks, but we haven't saw a lot of it tonight.
Slightly nervous look on the face of the one-time Sunderland player. Fondly remembered here.
He was another player though, John, who just came, Manchester United, Sunderland, West Ham, then disappeared. Always been quick.
Ferguson. Aubertin. Shot by Enrique. And we have live football from either end of the United Kingdom coming up over the next couple of days here on ESPN. Tomorrow from the SPL, Inverness Cally Thistle against Ross County. And then on Saturday from 4:30, West Ham versus Arsenal in the Barclays Premier League. Mariano. Perch. Amiobi. Planus. Bordeaux in theory, so we were told, on the way back, on the rebound after a fallow period that followed the departure of Laurent Blanc. Took over as manager of the national team. He departed 2 years ago. Previous season he'd guided Bordeaux to their 6th French League title. Aubertin was part of that team. It was off the back of that success he got his move to Manchester United. Mariano. Dan Gosling is showing an interest in a cameo role. Bruges now leading Maritimo 2-0 in the other game in this group, so if the scores remain the same, Newcastle will be top of the pile this evening. Steve Stone looking for the right page. Gosling, whose career has yet to really take off since coming from Everton.
He played in the last game, didn't he, Marita Mowley? I thought he played well in midfield there, and I thought he kept his shirt tonight. Obviously, the Man United coming Sunday, but he's only going to get 20 minutes.
Substitution for Newcastle United, coming off number 24, Jack Teote, and replacing him number 15, Dan Gosling.
After his customary all action and bookable display, off goes Teote to protect himself for Sunday.
He's played very well, hasn't he? You've got to say. At times he takes a little bit too long on the ball, but he's a big influence on this team. Breaks the play up well, and you can't say a pass.
Amiobi, Cisse, so Barr and Ben Arfa, despite getting stripped, effectively having the night off.
Well, you don't need them, do you? It's been very, very comfortable. I thought Bordeaux first 20 minutes off. Now I look excited to give Newcastle a match.
Yellow card territory again on Guemo.
Well, he has the booking. Is it that bad? Does it deserve a booking? No, for me. It doesn't need a yellow card for that.
Newcastle slightly fortunate with their third goal, swept in by Cisse from an offside position this evening. In the first half they scored through Amiobi, an own goal by Enrique. And now Newcastle have a corner. Udinese have come from behind against Liverpool. The Italians now lead 2-1 thanks to an own goal from Sebastian Coates. Those goals will be shown here on ESPN at the conclusion of this match. Newcastle's first corner. Perch. And Guemo. Romana, who's already a favourite here. And Bellion is all on his own, and there is no flag. And Harper comes to the rescue.
I was going to say, the one thing that David Bellion's never been good at for me is finishing. And there, he just looked, it's so obvious. Steve Harper is a very experienced keeper, made himself big. But that was a golden chance.
Plaintive cry of one Steve Harper. Appearing as a substitute, the veteran Newcastle goalkeeper for the 11th time in his career this evening. Elliott off injured at half-time. Obertan. Cisse wants it. Cisse's got it, but the flag is up.
Well, he was offside for his goal, and he was definitely offside for this chance. There's no doubt about it. Obertan comes away from that left wing, gets a bit of space down this inside right channel, and Cisse's got to look across the lane. What is he? Why can't he see what? He's 3 yards offside.
Well, he scored from 2 yards offside.
Well, I just can't see as Bellion's chance, and look, never comfortable. It's an easy save for Stephen Harper with his right foot.
More bad news for Liverpool, who were one up through Shelvey. Pasquale has scored a third for Udinese. Earlier, Spurs drew 1-1 Panathinaikos in Athens. Gosling. Luis Suarez has pulled one back for Liverpool, now trailing by the odd goal in 5. Tremulina.
Bordeaux was sadly lacked ideas in the final third. Some of the approach play's been nice. They've got some players with a bit of imagination, a lot of pace in the side, but final ball, whether it's just tonight, John, I don't know, but it's been very, very poor.
There was a meeting of minds down in the tunnel before the game when Chris Waddle renewed acquaintance with former teammate Jean-Pierre Papin, who was here commentating for French television. And he told you that Bordeaux were good.
Very strong at the back. He's obviously been watching their reserves. But they'll put it down to just a one-off night, won't they? They've conceded an own goal, sloppy first goal. Third one's offside, they'll say.
And they'll seek revenge when the sides meet again on December the 6th at Chaban Delmas. The old Parc Lescure, renamed these days. Goodness.
He's walking out the house. What does his wife say to him?
Shane Ferguson. Who would you say has enhanced their Newcastle reputations this evening, Chris?
Well, I think Overton's done a lot better than what I've saw in the Newcastle shirt. I think he's still got more to do. He's still got a bit more consistency. Amiobi, the 2 games we've played, they've played in this competition, has been excellent, leading the line. I've got to say, Ferguson left back's been great. I think he's probably been my man of the match if I was picking one. I think, tell what you know what you're going to get from him, and there's been some strong positions, at the back fours look quite solid. But Ferguson's caught the eye, and Amiobi for me.
Savé flicked on by Bellion. It's 10 years since he last played here. So a rather salutary evening for Francis Gillon, who hasn't endured defeat for more than 6 months. At the end of a 17-game unbeaten sequence. Of occasions such as this, whilst the ground is far from full, 31,000 inside St James's, is that with so many blockbuster Premier League fixtures sold out here, it is a chance for those that can't ordinarily get a ticket or can't afford a ticket to come and watch Newcastle's first team in action, even if they're not in the famous black and white stripes tonight. Tickets cost £15 for adults, £5 children and OAPs. Let's help boost the attendance. Nguemo. Offside. Given against Diabate. So for the 2 of them, 20 quid well spent. Amiobi. has Planous. Diabate. There was the destroyer, Obertan. He's played with a great deal more vigour than we've seen on occasion in the past. A pleasing lunar scene, which may soon be obscured because the forecast is for heavy rain in the next couple of hours here. Nguema. Flag was up, academic anyway, on the far side. So next for Newcastle in this competition, 3 weeks tonight, a home fixture against Club Brugge. Be interesting to see how many good Belgians are left playing in their own country.
Well, I was surprised Bordeaux beat Bruges 4, I've got to say. Bruges obviously getting a result tonight, so it'll be an interesting game. Normally a talented side.
Bordeaux have had plenty of talented players in the past. All the way through from Tigana and Giresse to Dugarry and Zidane. This has been a rather plain version of the old vintage this evening. Well, not all the juniors are too delighted to be up at this time of night. Well, Mike Williamson has taken one in the face there. No need for me to explain any further what he thinks. Diabate was the opposing player. Enrique. Jussier. Most of the second half, from Newcastle's perspective at least, has been a training exercise. Third goal removed any lingering sting from the contest, and that came in the 49th minute. Turned in from an offside position by Papi Cissé. First half, the goals came from Amiobi, and then an own goal forced by Simpson's cross and put past his own keeper by the Brazilian central defender Enrique.
I think Bordeaux will put it down to just a bad day at the office, because you've played well this season by all the reports you've had, and you know, this is one night where, all right, it didn't go against them with the first couple of goals, but second half, you've got to say they haven't really tried to get back into this game for me. I thought on half-time, changed the system back to a 3, which they normally play at the back, and I thought they would have really pressed Newcastle and had a go. Newcastle get the third goal, and you've got to say they've just lied down and let Newcastle play. They keep ball, do what they want. There's no pressure on the ball, and it's been very, very easy for Newcastle.
Hanging low to southwest France later tonight to prepare for that next league game at Brest on Sunday. Then they play Lille, and then their next European fixture against Maritimo in Madeira. Top 2 go through from the group and are joined by 8 third-place teams from the Champions League to make up the last 32. Bellion. That was Perch.
I think the key for this, John, is what team you put out. Newcastle's put out, for me, a strong side tonight, and they've got the reward. I think it depends on the side. I think if Newcastle want to get through this group, they can with the players in the squad they've got. As long as they keep putting 4 or 5 maybe 6 of what you'd think are regulars, then there's no reason they can't get through.
And Alan Pardew will presumably rely on the appetite of his fringe players to make an impression when they are given a chance.
Well, it isn't, and I think when you play with the players who play regular, they have a bit of confidence, and you want to prove that you're worth a shirt. And you know, it's been a good mixture tonight with Alan Pardew, I think.
As it was at Maritimo in the last group game.
Yeah, he's got it right. I think there'd be more of a goal threat, I think, with this side though.
Seve. Mariano. Sané. Nguemo. Why not?
Well, that's all they've offered, isn't it, really? Some nice football, but when they get the last 25-30 yards, it's basically been a shot. They've never really cut Newcastle's defence apart and got gaps where you can thread people through and have good crosses in, pick people out.
Newcastle haven't always had it their own way at home against French teams. They've dominated this. There are only 2 home defeats in the UEFA Cup, and now the Europa League came against French opposition. That is offside against Cisse.
I can't see how he doesn't look along the lane, mate. It's so easy, isn't it? You just look where the last defender is. There he is, look. He's not looking at it. It's all around him, look. He's just watching the ball.
For Bordeaux, 5 visits to England now, 5 defeats, no goals scored, 13 conceded, and James Perch has attracted the wrath of the Spanish referee.
That's a silly yellow card at this time of the game. The game's won, he's late. He is very late as well, and the referee's got no option. Look, he doesn't need to commit himself. They're basically just running the clock down.
5 yellow cards tonight, 3 of them to Newcastle players. Knocked away by Simpson. Cisse. Turns around in great disappointment as Newcastle are awarded the free kick. Newcastle in a strong early position in the group, 4 points from their 2 games, top position, and back-to-back fixtures with Club Brugge coming next.
I think you give the Bordeaux fans a bit of credit in that far corner. Never stop singing, have they?
No sign for the men and women from the wine-growing region of any sour grapes. Sorry, it is that time. But it has tested their patience. Four extra minutes.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes stoppage time to be added. 4 minutes.
Nguemo. Too strong for Diabate. Newcastle haven't had too many goals this season, 11 in 10 matches prior to tonight. this evening's offering will be welcome for their coffers. With Manchester United due here in 3 days' time in the Barclays Premier League. Last time Manchester United visited St James's Park, the home side won comfortably. Handsomely, some would say. Alan Pardew relaxed enough beneath us to applaud each section of the ground in turn as it sings his name. Down by Amiobi. Jussier. All too typical of Bordeaux's play this evening. Dan Gosling. Newcastle go through the motions, which in truth is what they've been doing for much of the second half, having had the game won inside 50 minutes. Nguemo. Newcastle tonight as composed, confident and convincing as they have needed to be. Slice of first half fortune with the own goal by Enrique, but by that stage they were already in front through Amiobi. And this man Cisse added a third early in the second half. Aubertin. Bigirimana. Danny Simpson. Elliott and Harper will share the clean sheet. Neither of them overextended. Bordeaux came here much vaunted. The French media had talked them up as having a genuine chance of coming here and winning. The reality has been rather different. Diabate, now Nguemo. Foul and a free kick. The referee could do everyone a favour here. Enough is enough. Newcastle win convincingly and comfortably. First half goals from Amiobi and an own goal by Enrique. In the second half, Cisse clinched it with less than 50 minutes on the clock. Newcastle extend their impressive home record in Europe and indeed their home record in all competitions in 2012. Bordeaux, though, a great disappointment. Newcastle did their job and a little bit more. We were told that Bordeaux were a good vintage. In fact, tonight, their offering looked more like it was corked. Newcastle 3, Bordeaux 0.
Coming up this Sunday on ESPN, a massive game from Italy's Serie A. It's AC Milan against Inter Milan, Sunday night from 7:15. Can't wait. Newcastle 3, Bordeaux 0 was the final score in tonight's Europa League match played on Tyneside. Solid start to the season for Newcastle in the Europa League. 4 points out of 6, top of their group. Let's hear the first reaction from the Newcastle dressing room by handing over to Dave Beckett.
Two of the stars of a show with us, Shola Amiobi and Yohan Cabaye. Shola, how important is it to you to get these goals when you get your first team chance?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a striker, you want to get off the mark as quickly as possible. He missed the start of the season with an injury, so I'm just delighted to get a chance there today. Obviously, the strikers of the club are doing really well at the moment, so I have to take my chance when I get it. And I just thank God that the chance fell to me. I couldn't have scored an easy goal tonight, but on the whole, the team were fantastic. The side that was out there wanted it. You could see it. Players who probably weren't haven't been playing as much. Everyone there showed the manager that they want to be in that starting 11 week in, week out. So it's great. It bodes great for bodes well for the team and for this city.
And you've got Johan to thank too, because he started that move with a terrific pass out to Overtan. Did you expect a bit more from Bordeaux though this evening?
Yeah, a bit more, I think. Yeah, but we played well, so I think that's why Bordeaux play less well than they used to. But it was very important to get 3 points tonight, to get the first place in the group. And every players played well. So now we get 3 points, and we must have a quick turnaround about Sunday, because it's going to be a tough game as well.
Well done tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Rob Lee and Didi Hamann watched Newcastle's victory over Bordeaux. What jumped off the screen for you this evening, Rob?
Well, I don't know if it was that Bordeaux were very poor or Newcastle were very good, but I expected more from Bordeaux. But as Johan Kabay said, they played very well. Deservedly won, and won at a canter. It was over in the 49th minute when the third goal went in. From then on, it was like a training game. So it's they haven't exerted too much, From they've got a big game coming up on Sunday, and I think they'll be quite fresh, really.
Yeah, Manchester United visit St James's Park on Sunday. Newcastle unbeaten at home so far. It's all going very well. What was the story of the victory as far as you were concerned, Didi?
Well, they scored that first goal, which really took the sting out of Bordeaux. They had a few good passing movements early on, Bordeaux, without threatening. But after the first goal, you could see they really went down. And from that on, it was one-way traffic. And I think the way Newcastle won that game against a team that's not been beaten for 17 games, I think it was very impressive. And the club and the team is progressing nicely. As Ameobi just said, all the players who came in today, they performed. And, it'll be a tough game for Man United on Sunday.
Third goal settled the result. Newcastle were fortunate, the decision went their way.
Yeah, well, he was half a yard off at least, wasn't he? I mean, it's a great finish, though. I mean, it's just what me and Didi were just saying before that. He doesn't score tap-ins. You don't realise how hard that is to do. It's as we see, he's offside, but he's caught that on the half volley. With his left foot. It's a difficult skill.
It's slightly behind him as well. This is as good a finish as you see, and it's not just the number of goals he scores, it's the quality as well. It's slightly behind, it may come off his shin, but he always finds a way to get the ball in the back of his net. And this is certainly a player who's on the top of his game, and what a threat him and Demba Ba pose for opposing teams. They're in outstanding form and a threat to anyone.
Alan Pardew is taking this competition seriously. There is strength and depth in the Newcastle squad, Newcastle fans hope, but when you get an opportunity you have to take it. Gabriel Oberton made a very positive contribution early in the game.
I was in the first time ever. I've been impressed with him. I think he's been poor in a Newcastle shirt, but this is what we want to see more of. It's not great defending, but get him down the line. He's got great pace. It's a great ball in, and it's an easy tap in for Shola. But you'd like to see him do more of that. As I say, his pace is his main asset. He's got a good touch. And we don't see enough of this. It's his job as a winger to get crosses in, and that's probably as I say, I've been a big critic of his, but he done very well today.
Yeah, the European football may suit him a little bit better, because in the Premier League it's very physical, it's very quick. When you play in Europe, you get that split second longer, and once he starts running at defenders, it's very hard to stop. And I think he played the first game with Maritimo very well. He played well tonight. I just think the European football probably suits him a little bit better than the Premier League right now.
Any advantage that comes your way, take. The third goal was a touch of offside, and this goal was actually presented to Newcastle on a plate.
Oh yeah, it's a complete mix-up really. It's from the goal and defender, and that was just before half-time as well. So it made Newcastle going up 2-0, and the next goal was crucial after this, just after half-time. So it's if the keeper doesn't call for it, then it's poor from him. But defender should do better there. I mean, it's not great defense. I was really disappointed in Bordeaux today. I don't know if they just had an off day, but I was really I think it just shows the difference between the French league and the English Premier League. I mean, they're meant to be fifth in the French league and doing very, very well, but they had a strong team out, but Newcastle were way too strong for them tonight. So far, so good for Newcastle. They're building. Big test on Sunday, isn't it? If they can keep their unbeaten home record going by taking a point or points off Manchester United, the place will be flying. No reason to believe they can't. Man United is coming off the back of a disappointing result against Spurs.
St James's Park will be rocking on Sunday afternoon, and if they play the way they did tonight, obviously Dembaba might be coming in, Ben Arfa might be coming in. It's a very good squad now.
We'll be hearing from Alan Pardew in a few minutes' time. Let's go through a few of tonight's Europa League results. Look at a few scores. Anzi beat Young Boys by 2-0. Samuel Eto'o got both. It's a bad result for Liverpool, isn't it? Losing at home to Udinese by 3-2. Stoppage time winner for the holders, Atletico, this evening against Pils, and Christian Rodriguez, the scorer. Let's move on and take a look at the group that includes Club Brugge and Maritimo and Newcastle. Club Brugge 2-0 winners this evening. Also in Group F, first points of the campaign for PSV, first defeat for Napoli. Group G, Videoton beating Sporting by 3-0. Basel and Genk 2-2. It's a heavy defeat for Sporting. Victory for Inter in Azerbaijan, and the injury time winner for Lyon in Israel this evening. Lazio beat Maribor by 1-0. Panathinaikos 1-1 with Spurs. Action from that game coming up a little bit later. And also this evening we can see that Helsingborg and 2-2 at finish. Goals, just looking down, there's goals in every Europa League match this evening. Let's hear from Newcastle manager Alan Pardew. He's with Dave Becker, ready to talk to us.
Alan, lots of positives this evening. What pleased you most?
What pleased me most was that we played with verve and energy again, and we looked more like ourselves from last year. Performance level was fantastic, and that's a good side, trust me. We had to play very, very well tonight to make that as comfortable as it was.
Yeah, the first half was much closer than the scoreline suggested, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think, I can't say the result flattered us, because I thought in the end we did, we deserved to win by a distance. But we knocked the spirit out of them in terms of the goals, the clinical nature of them. And our passing second half made it very difficult for them to get back in the game, and that's something we've been working on, controlling games. But that's a team that haven't been beat for 17 games or something. I'm telling you, that's a great result for us.
At 3-0 up, as you say, it did kill the game, but is that exactly how you would like it in the Europa League? It's kind of the perfect workout, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't like a game we had to fight for, and the last 20 minutes it's helter-skelter and we're one end to the other and killing ourselves. We've kind of been able to relax towards the end of that game. And we need to, because obviously we've got Man United on suddenly. So in terms of a manager, for me, it was a perfect night.
In terms of that United game, Rob Elliott went off. Is Tim Krul close enough to ease your problems on the goalkeeping front? No, he isn't, and we got two great goals, because Rob was brilliant tonight, as he has been in this competition. So we go for our younger one, and he'll be on the bench. But Arps, that's Jack Annick. Jack will come in, yeah, and he's done well, so it's a nice bonus for him. Is there any thought of an emergency loan then? But you're quite happy to put Jack on the bench if it comes to it? Oh, absolutely not. No, Jack will go on the bench, and hopefully we'll get him a win bonus if we're lucky. Thanks, Alan. Well done tonight. Thank you.
Henderson to Shelvey. He's taken his chance in Lucas's absence and found Stuart Downing here. That's a good cross in. Shelvey! He is growing and growing as a Liverpool player, John Joe Shelvey. 2 goals in Bern in Liverpool's opening group game. He's given them the lead here at Anfield tonight. Lazzari making an immediate impression, and Di Natale making an immediate impact. 30-odd seconds into the second half, and yet another goal from Udinese's record. Antonio Di Natale, he only needs a glimpse of goal. Free kick swung in towards Domizzi, an Udinese lead. Maurizio Domizzi may just even have come off Quarters, but Liverpool undone from the free kick. Badu in towards Antonio Di Natale. Still Di Natale, now he says some Pasquale to hit it, and that's 3. And Udinese have scored twice in 2 minutes here.
and have control at Anfield. 3-1 they lead.
Someone needs to pop it in. They need to get back in this game.
It's Suarez. Oh, it's beaten! Unstoppable. Luis Suarez lifts Liverpool. Liverpool 2, Udinese 3.
Failed to take the corner, but he earned. Beyond Dempsey, met by Kolkar. Lashed goalward by Defoe. There are a few who felt they saw a hand. Defoe amongst them, the referee, if he saw it, declining any penalty shout. In by Huddleston and in. Dawson, the captain, scores for Tottenham 10 minutes before half-time with a deft little near-post touch. Dawson sticking out his chest and going.
Really well, Dawson. I mean, nobody really showed for him, so he had to take it on, and good pass.
Bale. To read it through the pass. Toche! They've stolen an equaliser. The longer it went, the more you worried. And there's why. Toche, the Spaniard, and Panathinaikos, who've dozed through much of this game, just might get something out of it.
So this is the position the three English clubs playing in this season's Europa League find themselves in after 2 of the 6 group games played. Lazio lead the group in Group J. Tottenham in 3rd with their 2 draws. Lazio beat Maribor by a 1-0 this evening. Spurs drawing away in Greece. Next up on match night 3, it's a trip to Slovenia for Spurs. Confirmation of the situation in Newcastle's group. They're top of the pile, 4 points out of 6 after tonight's 3-0 win against Bordeaux. Bordeaux's long unbeaten run coming to an end. Newcastle looking pretty good. And for Liverpool, home defeat at the hands of Udinese. Anzi beat Young Boys by 2-0. Anzi of Russia top on 4 points, then Udinese on 4 points. Liverpool with 3, Young Boys yet to get off the mark.